Auf jeden Fall. Also was die Bankfolie leistet und die Elferform in Winterberg, das ist auch auf Wagenländer wichtig.
Nothing on the table. Nice into 15. Oh, and very late.
Also natürlich auch beim Abschluss leicht das letzte Mal, dass wir die sehen. Ja, wir haben einige Abschiede bei Männern wissen das, aber bei den Frauen ist es auch nicht ganz klar, ob die da
Spur ist gestartet und noch ein Wort zum Startrekord, der steht seit dem 5. Dezember 2015. Also es ist mal Zeit, dass die sieben, 10, 15, der Deutsche, der 12, 27,
Also, schauen wir mal, was die Bahn heute hergibt. Auf die Bahn.
Hallo, Hallöchen, guten Neues. Alles gut?
einen wunderschönen guten Morgen, meine sehr verehrten Damen und Herren, zum IBSF.
Welcome back to wintry Winterberg in Germany for the final day of the 5th race weekend of the IBSF Bobsleigh and Skeleton World Cup. Hello everybody and welcome to a snowy Sunday morning. Luckily, the air is still and there is no falling snow, so hopefully our women's race will be able to proceed as intended. 27 sleds on our entry list, and this Winterberg ice arena, built in the 1970s, is one that many of our athletes will know very well. From the new start here, recently new, about 15 years old, a flat start. You really have to build the power early. Quite a long run down into the zero curve. Avoid skids or taps on this long flat straight down to corner one. The old corner one, the new start area, didn't meet it correctly. Corner two, two pressures, but still very skiddy here. Through corner three and uphill on the exit. Over the brow in corner four, and then starting to peter down into five. You drop 3 stories in turn 5, really start to accelerate here into corner 6, and then into the Kreisel. Out cleanly through corner 8, and then 9, key to speed for the rest of the track. A really technical corner, clean exit here gets you into 10 without a tap. 10-11 is a quick transition. We're over 70 miles an hour here. 13-14, very difficult this year. And the final uphill corner across the line there, and you're done. And you should be done well under a minute. Track record 55.75, set in March 2024 by the winner then. By the silver medalist then, Lauren Alter with Deborah Levy. The winner was Lisa Buchwitz with Kira Lipperheider. There is Nolter, and there in the blue hat is Buchwitz. Bundestrainer René Spies with an all-German podium yesterday in the two-man competition. But Katy Bile and Bree Walker could spring a bit of a surprise here. Bree first off, Katy Bile the last non-German to take a medal here. But you've just seen Kaylee Humphries, one of 2. And there's Alana Myers-Taylor, the other non-German winners on this track in the last 20 years who are still competing. The other 2, Jamie Grubel-Poser, long since retired, as is Helen Upperton. So Kaylee won for Canada with Chelsea Valois back in 2012. Are Canada going to be in the medals again? Well, Cynthia Appiah has had a really good day yesterday, and so she will be full of excitement for today. Big field, 27 sleds, and the fastest 20 will go through to the second heat. So among the first 3 who are outside of our top 20 draw, and then below about 17th position, we'll be seeing a real fight to try and make it through into the second heat. Last 5 races here, including the 24 World Championships, have been all German podiums. But before January 2020, the last all German podium was in 2004 season. Race 5 of the IBSF Women's Bobsleigh World Cup. We're in Winterberg in Germany. Bree Walker and Chiara Rodingius getting us underway. Martin Haven watching the action trackside with you as they start 5.66, and a nice smooth run through the zero curve. It'll be a little less tricky for our women this morning than it was in the monobob, because there's a little bit more weight in the sled with the push athlete, helps keep it stable. Up through 3, uphill into 4, straight out of 4 down to turn 5. Try not to tap into 5. Smooth transition into 6 and onto the Kreisel. Between the blue lines, you want to straddle the gap there. And down through corner 8. Big corner 9, 91 kilometers an hour, 56 miles an hour, now accelerating fast through the labyrinth. 10 and 11. The 11-12 transition is okay. 13-14's been rocky. That's clean from Bree. 79.8 miles an hour, and across the line, 58.02. Well, we'll have to wait. A little bit of a slow ripple of applause from Pierre Lunas. We'll have to wait and see what the others do. Bree's best result on this track, a 5th place finish last year. Of her 6 World Cups and the World Championship she raced here. Just caught her knee getting in. Wasn't the tidiest load. And she was lucky to get a straight run down into the zero curve. We're here through corner 11. Nice smooth line. All right, let's see how that stacks up. A 58.02. Next up, Georgeta Popescu for Romania. Teodora Vlad behind her. Teodora's 31st women's bobsleigh start, and Georgeta's 12th. 2 World Cups here for Popescu. A best of 16th in January 2023. She was 20th in last year's race. Either would do today to get her into the second heat. In and down, nice and smoothly done, 5.82. And smoothly through the first corner as well, the zero curve. Now they're behind the Aussies on the start by 1600ths of a second. And that gap will grow because the Aussies had better momentum, 1900ths. And it'll continue to grow until they start to accelerate here out of corner 5. And then she might get a chance to start reeling it in. Better speed. Ooh, a little wavy Kreisel and late out as well. Covered a little too much ground in the Kreisel. The more up and down you're going, you're zigzagging, you're not going straight. Bringing it down to 1200ths deficit. 900ths, decent 13, 14, slightly better speed than Bree Walker at the line. Just 600ths behind. Well, not a bad run from Georgeta Popescu to open proceedings. She has the benefit of good early ice. Tracks tend to degrade a little as the run progresses. The weight of the sleds just making the ice a fraction more choppy. Previous best of 16th here compared to Bree Walker's 5th, and she's only a few hundreds behind, but very late height. And then brought it down in the Kreisel. Centrifugal force pushed her up a little bit at the end. And again here out of 9. Maybe a little high, but she's happy with that one. Third of our 27 starters this morning, Yingqing of China with Wang Yu behind her. 35th World Cup race for the driver and a 12th for her 25-year-old brakewoman. Talma Strejskins closest to the camera, the Latvian starting legend. All right, so what is the sweeping protocol? Normally in the snow it's every third sled. They are the third sled, but it should be after them unless we're sweeping every second sled or the track are making the rules up as they did yesterday. So Yingqing, 3 World Cups and a World Championships here. Didn't compete last season on this track. Her best was 11th in January 2023. And the time she has to beat a 58.02. Let's take a look at the start. 5.83. Nicely through the zero curve. Good run down to turn 1. 5.83. A whisker slower than we just saw from Georgeta Popescu. Uphill from corner 3 to corner 4. And over the crest, dropping back down again. Very flat this early section of the track. You know it when you've hiked up the hill, you get to that and it's almost your plateau all the way round to the start. Third best speed, third place at the moment for Ying. Nice 11, good transitions through the labyrinth, help to keep that speed alive. Not quite as quick as she needs to be, only 79.5 miles an hour across the line, 4,500s back, and that might leave her in danger of not making a second heat. I'll be amazed if that's anywhere close to her previous best of 11th. See Wang Yu in the back, head buried down between her knees. The brakewoman staying well out of the aerodynamic range of the airflow, trying to reduce the drag as the air passes over the open cowl of the sled. Getting rocked and rolled around inside though. Next up, Switzerland's Enola Blatti, rookie this season in the World Cup. Salome Cora behind her. a 4x1 and 100-meter runner, one of the fastest women in Switzerland. Cortina was her first ever race. She raced in Innsbruck as well. So it's World Cup start number 3 for the brakewoman, number 5 for our driver. And Enola was the Europe Cup champion in monobob and runner-up in women's bobsleigh. 5.70 getaway, quick start. Ooh, little tag on the wall is going to take some of that speed away. Nicely down into corner 2. And they're going so slowly here. Every ounce of energy is absolutely critical. I suppose energy doesn't come in ounces. What is it, joules, newtons? I don't know. Better speed than anybody as she gets to the Kreisel. A nice line through the Kreisel as well. If you watched the monobob yesterday, you can see in the Kreisel how much further forwards the driver sits in a 2-seat sled, because there is an athlete behind. They have their chin right up by the cowl. 1100's up. It's a nice looking drive from Enola Blatti. Second best speed, but that'll do. 1200's at the line, 57.90. First World Cup start here for Enola Blatti. Just 2 previous races here in her career in Europe Cup and a bronze medal in both of them. And that was the end of last season. Digging in deep on the front handle, vaults in nicely, feet have to go in under the cowl. Grabs the D-rings and presses the release button for the push handle. Again here in 11. See how that right up by the cowl at the front of the sled. Whereas everybody's sitting way back in the monobob because they can and they have to put some weight over the rear axle. So Enola Blatti, Salome Cora, your early leaders. Next up, former winner, Kaylee Humphries. 18 World Cups here, 17 as a driver on this track alone. A gold and 2 bronze medals in her career. This is not her favorite track. It's her 131st start as a driver. Sylvia Hoffmann makes her 24th World Cup start, 6 of them as a driver. Hoffmann drove to 17th place here in her own sled last year. It's a 5.62 getaway. Sylvia positioning herself as a number 1 choice brakewoman for the games. And Kaylee, as talented a pair of driving hands as you're going to find in this field. 2900's up, 93 kilometers an hour, 57.9 miles an hour. You barely gain anything below the Kreisel until you get out of corner 9. And then you start to pick up speed once more. We'll be over 80 miles an hour through the finish line. Humphries building the advantage. 800's faster at the start, 4/10 better now. This could be a half-second lead across the line, 57.40. Kaylee Humphries, or Dot, as she's known to the graphics computer, takes the lead with Sylvia Hoffmann behind her. 62 start. Kaylee, the only woman who drives in goggles in the World Cup. It's what she learned from her coach when she was starting, Pierre Luders. He raced in goggles as well, and she stays with it. Sylvia Hoffmann buries herself in the back of the sled, returning to the pushing fold this season. And she will start driving again, I'm sure, right after the games. All right, little bit comme-ci, comme-ça for Kaylee Humphries. Humphries a winner here in 2012-13, a dozen years ago. Much more recently a medalist here, Katie Bile, bronze in January 2021. She's got the Jamaican sprinter, Christiana Williams, behind her. 5.55, excellent starting, and a nice 0 curve. Christiana Williams, last race was in Innsbruck. And the push athlete, a Olympic and Commonwealth silver medalist in the 4x100 relay for Jamaica, now looking to go to a Winter Games as another Olympic athlete for an entirely different nation. Katie Biles, 600s up, still over Kaylee Humphries. Nice from 9 to 10. Good exits down here. She was clean in the mono, 13, 14, tiniest of flops. Down to 200s. Humphries had a little better speed. She's going to be just in front at the line. Well, the nature of this track is that we get a lot of very close races, and there you go, 100 first to second.
Good job. Good job.
Nice low line in 11. Just allows the sled to climb on the exit to get that swooping transition. Here we go. 11 into 12, that's 13, 14, just a little rocky. Well, yeah, kind of. Half Austrian, half Jamaican, the crew. Next up, for Germany, last year's winner, Lisa Buchwitz, and the world champion the year before that. Lisa's won the last two here. With Vanessa Marks, who's the world champion, with Kira Lipperheider won last year, and she's back with Kira again. Her 25th World Cup start as a driver, Lisa Buchwitz, a big milestone, and they start 5:54. That's 900s away from the start record. And that was set back in December 2015 by Alana Myers-Taylor and Kerry Jones. 300s up on Katie Bile, the leader. This should be a close race. Better speed. Nice looking Chrysler as well from Buchwitz. She knows how to get a sled down this track quickly. 92.9, a whisker quicker than Kaylee Humphries. And Buchwitz flying, a little late at the exit of the labyrinth, but still the top speed. It's going to be a very big lead. 3900s. Wow. Nela Scooten in the coach's box, liking the look of that. 3 World Cups on this track, 2 golds and a bronze for Lisa Buchwitz, 2 golds and a silver. 3 races on this track, including the Worlds. Her last 3 outings, she's been on the podium. Little skid 9 to 10. She just got tapped away by the fillet into corner 10. Came late there, held the low line in 11. And then 13, 14. Trickier this year than it often has been. There's Kira on the left and Lisa on the right. Next up for the USA, Keisha Love with Azaria Hill. Azaria Hill, a second-generation Olympian. Both of her parents and her aunt were Summer Olympians. So, I mean, she didn't have much choice, did she? 12th World Cup for Azaria. Race with Kaylee in Lillehammer, with Alana in Innsbruck, with Keisha in Cortina, cycling back behind Keisha Love today. And a 5:55, excellent start. Little tap and a skid though for Keisha Love. Keisha, another exceptional brake woman. 10 World Cup starts behind the sled. This is her 18th as a driver. And she will take up the mantle from Kaylee and Alana and run with it, no question at all. Maybe for the next 2 quads. Still only 28. Her teammates have both turned 40. 3rd best run at the moment. Kaylee Humphries 4 tenths back at the bottom, skids through 9 and 10. 4th best, 3500s back, only the 6th best speed though. And across the line, 57.52. Well, leaves her behind Kaylee Humphries, but comfortably ahead of Enola Blatti in 5th place.
55 short.
girls are happy with the start. And unfortunately, off the zero, hit that little bit of ice that sticks out that everybody, not everybody has hit, but if you skid over to the wall, chances are you're going to get it. And again, 9-10 transition, just that little skid here in the Kreisel. See Azaria buried there, hands down by her heels. All right, what about the Canadians? Melissa Lottholz making her 25th World Cup start as a driver. Kelsey Mitchell behind her 3rd World Cup start. She raced in Innsbruck with Cynthia Appia and in Lillehammer with Kristen Bujnovski. Kelsey Mitchell, the Tokyo, I beg your pardon, the 2020 Olympic gold medalist in track cycling sprint. And again, Melissa Lottholz collecting that bit of ice. 5:65 start, but the speed will go away very quickly. She's our 9th sled down. I'd be surprised if she's got better than 7th or 8th speed on the splits. We're not getting that measurement from the data logger in the sled. But you can see down in 5th place, 4 tenths back already. Bronze medalist in Lillehammer. And Lottholz trying to keep the speed. Oh, but a really rocky 13-14. They're both going to feel that impact. And across the line, 6th position behind Enola Blatti by 100th of a second. And that zero curve run into the wall has been really tough for so many sleds over the course of this week. So at a zero, watch the runner, she tries to steer it, but then double taps the wall and she just gets knocked into a big skid. And then down here, 13-14, wow, boom. That's gonna be tender. There's no padding in the sleds. There's no seat belts, no comfy seats. Just bare steel and carbon. And that does not give when you hit it. Next up, Kim Kilicki. She's got Talia Prepens behind her in only her 2nd World Cup. Made a debut with Kim in Lillehammer. Had only raced once before in her career, 1 Europe Cup start. 200-meter world junior champion, under 18 at the age of 15, Talia. So the 24-year-old, a prodigious young talent. And Kilicki needs that boost of speed at the start. 5:57 gives her a real shot. Square tap, she comes out straight. Just 300s behind Lisa Buchwitz, our current leader at the start. And that's what she needs to work her magic. She is a serial podium finisher on this track, Kilicki. Yet to take the top step. 1500s back. 2nd best speed. The FES sleds holding their speed well. As the snow starts to arrive here, that's less of an issue once you're in the run. And more of a worry at the start. And the run down to 0 and curve 1, which are not entirely covered. Top speed, but 1/4 of a second back. At the line, 2nd place, 2900s back, a 10th ahead of Katie Bile. Oh, there's Leonie Fiebig, she's back. Leonie, regular favourite push starter for Kim Kilicki. And Fiebig has had 5 consecutive bronze medals on this track, with Mariama Yamanka, and then 4 with Kim Kilicki. But Talia Prepens in the back of the sled today as Kilicki makes her 44th World Cup start. 2 silvers, 3 bronze medals here alone for Kim Kilicki, and she's currently in 2nd spot. And more noise now for our 3rd German sled, the hometown queen, Lara Nolte. The 27-year-old has never been off the podium in Europe Cup, World Cup or World Championship races here. And with Deborah Levy, the defending Olympic champions. 46 World Cup, for Lauren Alter. 23rd, exactly half of those Deborah Levy has started with her. And Debbie, 20 medals in 22 starts with Nolter. 5:52, excellent starting. And she just gets away with that little touch after the zero curve. And that's what these two bring. Debbie back at her prodigious best, and Lara really benefiting from that. She's no slouch out of the blocks herself, but from 200s over Lisa Buchwitz, now she's 100th behind. Needs to be smooth through the Kreisel, build that speed. She's the slowest of the German sleds at this point. Now she's the quickest. A good Kreisel, only 500s back. This is very achievable. Good from 9 to 10. 11-12, silky smooth. 13-14, about the best we've seen. Top speed, 800s back. Will she lead? No, 1100s back. So Buchwitz leads from Nolter and Kalicki. 1100s is the margin that Lauren Nolter will need to make up to be ahead of Lisa Buchwitz. And that is not necessarily a guarantee of a win either. She had a great day yesterday in the Monobob, winning with 50 guests here from her sponsor, German Airlines. And a really nice run down at the bottom, built the speed. Just didn't quite have enough. This is 13-14 coming towards us. Not bad at all. All right, 11 sleds down out of our field of 27. Buchwitz, Nolter, Kalicki, Beil, Humphreys, Love. Alana Myers-Taylor, world champion here in 2015, a winner here in 2017, a medalist in 2018 and 2019. Can she turn back the clock? With Jasmine Jones behind her, making a 20th World Cup start. Alana made 15 as a brakewoman. She actually finished in bronze medal here with Erin Pack as the driver. It's her 91st driving race for Alana Myers-Taylor. They start 5:72. They had a pretty clean zero curve, but 1800s behind Lisa Buchwitz, the leader. Tenth at the start, still 10th on the splits. And Alana is the last US driver to have taken a medal. That's now 7 seasons ago. Six tenths back, up to 8th place, up to 7th place. 4th best speed from the MUSA sled. Brings it low around the final corner, 57.71. So that leaves her 1900s behind Keisha Love, and just ahead of Enola Blatty by 1800s. So she's really in no man's land at the moment in 7th place, not close to Kaylee Humphreys, and Keisha Love struggled to get in there. Jasmine Jones loading nicely behind her. And the MUSA sleds not quite flying the way that they were yesterday in the two-man competition. Chris Horn finishing 4th, and Frank Del Duca finishing 5th. After a lot of furious polishing of the track by the track workers for the 3 final sleds, who are all wearing yellow. Next up, Melly Hasler and Nadia Pasternak of Switzerland. 40th World Cup start for Mel. Nadia making her 34th. Last Swiss medal, 2011-12 season here. Fabienne Meyer and Hannah Schenk. Ooh, double tap. 5:57, 5th best start is a good getaway. Let's see if she can put herself into contention. Only 300s back at the start, only 800s back now. A nice exit from 5, but the gap's out to 1700s. 6th best speed into the Kreisel. Still 6th best speed at corner 9. Needs to build this down through the labyrinth. Let the sled fly. 7th best speed. Looks like the runner choice was not ideal for the morning. 57.52. So tied for 6th place with Keisha Love. They are 1200s behind 5th place Kaylee Humphreys. 2300s out of the medals. Well, if the snow continues into the second heat, who knows what might happen. Nice load. Nadia Pasternak diving in behind her. Pasternak and her partner Roman Heinrich, both racing in the World Cup this weekend, as they have all season, and joint baby care duties of their young daughter Noeli. There's Mel, there's Nadia. Wai Mingming of China makes her 26th World Cup start now, and Wang Zhuan behind her 21st. And Wang made her debut in Innsbruck in November 2021. Wai, 3 World Cups here, a best of 6th in January 2022. Didn't race here last season. Her best result this year has been an 8th place finish last time out in Sigulda, 5:65 getaway. 11th fastest start, but 8th best velocity. That's excellent start technique from the Chinese duo. Eighth at the start, still 8th on the splits, hovering around Alana Myers-Taylor. 4th best speed, excellent so far. Chinese driving BTC sleds built in Latvia, so the default customer sled. And they have got this thing absolutely flying. Good speed, she might be able to pick off 1 or 2. Lana Myers-Taylor is 7100s back at the bottom, and she pushes herself in front by a couple of hundreds. Well, right now, Wai in 8th place. There is, however, a lot of talent left in the field, but that was good starting from Wai and Wang. 11th best push, 8th best velocity. Shows how well they're driving that sled across the ice as they get loaded. Sleeves pulled down over her hands. Oh, it's chilly. Wait till you get to St. Moritz next week. Overnight lows are going to be close to -30. Next up, Margot Bock with Luna Guro in the back of the sled for the 3rd time. Raced in Innsbruck and Lillehammer. Had never raced in a bobsled before then. 3 World Cups here for Margot Bock in her 26th start career. The last one, her best. 7th place last year. She was 12th in the World Championships. In and down. Ooh, uncomfortable load from Guro, but Margot keeps it clean out of 0, doesn't touch the wall. 10th best start. 10th best velocity off the 13th push. So already up to 11th, and that's the bonus of that extra velocity in the sled. Up to 9th. This is what Margot Bock can do so well, is make speed in a sled. She's so neat, she just flows down the track. 2nd best speed. Again, it's a customer sled, it's another BTC, and it's the attention to detail that comes from their driver and coach that make the difference. That and Margot's ability to drive a track. 4th best speed at the bottom. 7th place. Is she going to get 6? She does get 6th at the line. Bruna Mijon and Max Robert there. Excellent stuff. So really, really top draw effort. Well, she knows the track, and boy, it shows. 6th place for Margot Bock. 600s behind 5th position, Kaylee Humphries. And only 1700s away from Kim Kilicki in 3rd. Luna Gouraud there, her 3rd ever Racing World Cup start, or her 5th. 2 heats in the 2 previous outings. Little heavy load, but a good velocity and great drive. So, still speed in the track. Let's see what Cynthia Appiah can do with Dawn Richardson-Wilson behind her. Cynthia, 4 World Cups driving here, plus the World Championships, a best of 8th in December 2021. Only 19th here last year, though. 5:61 the getaway, just 700ths off the leaders. Good starting, and she'll be really buoyed up by yesterday's Monobob result. They had the fastest start in the competition, just a few hundreds off the start record, and Cynthia drove both heats really well. Fifth best speed. They were 7th at the start, dropping down to 8th position. The gaps here can be so tiny. 3,700s back. Now there's a tie for 7th ahead of her, Melly Hasler and Keisha Love. She's slipping back behind. And across the line, 9th position, 57.61. So Dawn Richardson-Wilson on the brakes, 16th time in the World Cup, and Cynthia Appiah, her 37th World Cup start as a driver. Little late height in corner 9. She brought it down a fraction early. Centrifugal force pushed her up, and she's a little late into 10. And low line in 11, and then just brings the sled up a fraction for that transition into 12. Nice run in the top 10 for Cynthia Appiah. And next up is her teammate Kristen Budznovsky. Boosh in only her 5th World Cup as a driver after 22 starts as a brakewoman. Skylar Sieben making her 10th World Cup start. Just 25, Skylar, already a bronze medalist. And Boosh only here as a brakewoman. Raced in the mono last weekend. 10th place in Cortina, her best result of her rookie World Cup season as a driver. 5:68, and a decent zero curve as well. A quicker getaway than Margot Bock, and we saw Bock drive away from 11th best start into 6th position. Let's see if Boosh can find that speed as well. Not as experienced as the French driver or her teammates, and in fact one of the least experienced drivers in the field, having only started in the World Cup this season, same as Enola Blatti. But Boosh did most of her learning on North American tracks, and we're not going to the USA and Canada this season, so she's learning everything here, mainly for the first time. 9 to 10, little skiddy. There's been a few rookie errors on the way down. Is she going to get a second heat? Well, the speed at the bottom is excellent. 5th best speed across the line in 16th out of 17 sleds. That might leave her in danger. Boosh with Yinqing of China behind her. But behind Georgetta Popescu and Bree Walker, the first 2 starters. Third of our Canadian drivers. Again, a fraction late when you're doing 75 miles an hour plus. these errors that look so big and so easy to sort in hypermotion happen in a fraction of a second in the real world. And they rattle your fillings. 18th of our 27 starters today. Deborah Annan with Mara Morell behind her. 18th World Cup start for Mara, only an 8th for the driver. Debbie was 19th in the World Championships here and 10th in last year's World Cup. She then raced in Europe Cup in December here, rather than going to Sigulda. 5:69 getaway, 1500s behind the leader and just a little skid. So 13th at the start and up to 10th place. That Europe Cup race weekend at the end of December may well be helping her here. Up to 9th position, really good run so far. Tapped away a little from 6 into the Kreisel. Deals with it nicely. Fraction late out of the Kreisel maybe. 9th back out to 10th place. This is a really strong run from Debbie Annan. Nice sweeping runs down through the labyrinth. 13:14, one of the cleaner exits. 8th best speed. Does she get 9th at the line? She does. 200s behind the tie for 7th. Her teammate Melly Hasler and Keisha Love. Both 200s ahead of Annan and Morell. So best of 10th place here for Debbie Annan, and she comes down in 9th spot in the first run. That was a really good run. 13th best start to 9th at the bottom. That shows that they put good velocity into the sled, but also that Deborah Annan had a really nice drive, and that was part of it. Not getting a big skid, little double taps down into corner 1. Watch the runners as she just brings the sled gently up out of corner 11. There's Mara on the left, Debbie on the right. Next up for Great Britain, 14th World Cup start for driver Adele Nicol and a 5th for Ash Nelson. Made her debut here in January 2025, Ash Nelson on the back of the sled with Adele. Oh, and a huge double hit. Didn't get in time, didn't have her hands on the D-rings. It says it was a 5:69 start, but the speed will be awful down the track. She's our 19th sled, and that will absolutely have knocked the wind out of both of them. Ash would have been getting in and getting down and wondering what on earth was happening. Her driver knows, and that might be consigning them to outside the top 20. It's going to be really tough to make up for that loss of speed. She is clawing herself away ahead of a couple of sleds. I think she was really hoping for a good day today. 11th best speed at the bottom, a good drive, but 58.04, really in the danger zone. 16th out of our 19 sleds so far. Well, we saw it happen yesterday. It does very occasionally. Driver gets in late, doesn't get her hands on the D-ring. She gets hooked up here, and then the sled drives itself to the right into the wall. Bang. And then you've got no chance of controlling it into zero. It wallops the wall. Again, Adele just ducking ahead, trying to save any hundreds anywhere. Nice from 9 to 10, and again, just ducking out of sight. Getting that sight of where the corner is and trusting the rhythm, but all right, so bit of status quo for the polls, not quite sure the relevance. There we go. Linda Wyszewski and Claudia Adamek. Claudia, 4x1 and 4x200 medalist. Made a debut in Altenburg in December 2024 with Linda. And this is their 9th World Cup together, the 15th in her career for Linda Wyszewski. 15th in the Worlds, 9th in last year's World Cup, these two together. Raced here in Europe Cup in December as well. Start 5.60, 7th best, that's very respectable. A smooth run so far. 7th at the start, still holding that position. And with Claudia behind her to give her those good starts, Linda Wyszewski really has an opportunity to make some inroads into this field in the women's bob. Only the 12th best speed. They may not have the best runners for these conditions as well. We saw the US sleds not matching the top speed numbers that we expect. Looks like the Poles may be in the same bag. Only the 18th best speed. Still, it's going to be a top 12 run. Yes, it's 13th behind Alana Myers-Taylor by a 10th. That's good enough to guarantee a second heat. So, 7 sleds behind her, and 7 won't get a second run. So we know that Linda Wyszewski absolutely will. Enola Blatty, Melissa Lott-Holtz, Brie Walker, Adele Nicol, Georgetta Popescu, Kristen Bushnowski will all have to wait and see. We saw Linda starting on the block with Claudia. Lots of driver start on the front handle. She goes off the block to get that extra thump as she hit the bar. So 20 sleds down. Lisa Buchwitz still the leader, but it's the bottom of the 20 that concerns us, not the top. Next up, Maya Voigt and a debutante, Malou Sabens behind her. Malou, an ex-rugby player, 26 years of age, no official races. They get away in 6:02. And Malou has been sled dogging all season, helping with training. Sophia Bonda was not ready to start the race today, or not fit to start the race today, and so it is a debut for Malou with Maya Voigt. 21st at the start. Voigt, the Youth Olympic Champion 2024, a real star in the monobob. And can she drive herself into the second heat? 18th best speed, she might have enough. She needs at least 20th at the line right now. Yingqing is the danger. 13th best speed. Is she ahead of the Chinese slider? She is not. 58.66. So Yingqing of China holds on. One of the danger women down. No second heat then for Maya Voigt and Malou Sabens. A little uncomfortable 5 into 6. And then down, waving in corner 9. She came in offline and very late off 9. That was very nearly inverted. That's as close as we've seen anybody come in the races so far this weekend. For the Czech Republic, Patricia Tanierova making her 3rd World Cup start, and her brakewoman Isabella Indrikova her 6th. The first 3 of her career were for Austria, the remaining 3 with Patricia. Well, Patricia hasn't started a World Cup race here, but she's had half a dozen Europe Cup races on this track. She was here in December as well, when the others were in Sigulda. 5.77, 19th best start, 15th best velocity, and a decent run through the 0 curve. So let's see what she can produce here, because Patricia needs again to be at least ahead of Wai Ming Ming. I beg your pardon, ahead of Yingqing. If she's ahead of Wai Ming Ming, then she's doing really well. That'll be top 10. 16th with 12th best speed. Excellent run from the Czech driver, Patricia Tanierova. 19th at the start, up to 16th. 10th best speed in corner 9. Hits 10. Oh, and high and very much in danger out of 11. Oh, and she's gone in 13. It looked like she had it back. She will cross the line. She will not get a second heat, even if they were thinking of taking one. Well, the track workers in very quickly to stop the sled when it gets to a halt. Stop it sliding back. Good to see both athletes are out. And Isabella there going straight to look after her driver, and vice versa. Well, there will be a mandatory track hold. So she got knocked away 9 into 10. 11, she's coming down when everybody else is going up. So then she goes up much later, much later. Then they're airborne. No runners on ice. Gets away with it into 12, but so late in 12, the transition 12 to 13, she gets knocked away into 13, and she is climbing as the track runs out. Now that was a big impact for both sliders. 13 into 14. They're doing 80 miles an hour there. The crane now comes in to get the sled lifted away. Patricia sitting in the little hut there. Isabella walking round. That will absolutely have rung the driver's bell. I'm sure Dominic Dvorak, even had they made it down, if it was a depleted field and they're in the top 20, I'm not sure you'd be wanting to send her out. So we have a 5-minute track hold. You can hear the air blowers going. A little bit of light snow drifting down, not too much at the moment. And there you can see Lea Hasselvanter. You can see the Belgians, Kelly van Petegem, Jency de Cler. We've still got 5 sleds to come. Lea Hasselvanter at the line, or the sled is at any rate. Medical crews there to check over our 2 sliders. And then the team will have to come down with the scabbards to put the sled into its scabbards, and then the trailer will come down, and it'll take a while to recover the sled, but I think that is day done. Well, it is definitely day done for Patricia Tanirova and Isabella Indrikova. Well done to the fans for getting here. Roads here are thick with abandoned cars, actually, in places. Lots of snowbanks, making... and lots of visitors on not necessarily the most suitable tyres for the weather, making driving around Winterberg itself very tricky. Lea Hasselvanter and Hannah Kranen getting on with it. You saw the double-headed eagle, the Austrian flag down there at the start. Medical crew going to check on our sliders. Still waiting for the scabbards, and actually until we can move that sled, we won't be going any further. Because what one can do, so can another. In the black and white jackets, with the red hat, Wolfgang Stampfer, chief coach for the Austrian team, and Benny Meyer, Austrian bobsledding legend, along with him. We've all been here before, they've all been here before, in training, in races, countless times. It doesn't always happen to you, but you know that these things do happen. Track workers just checking the ice to make sure there are no major gouges. The good news is that it's been cold overnight and cold during the day for the last week, pretty much. So the ice is pretty resilient. Good view there of the underside of the sled. The little opening you can just see ahead of the message underneath is where the brakes come down. A little tooth rake, basically, that digs into the ice after the finish. And you do not brake during the run. So the Austrians come out, the Belgians come out as well, because they will be next up And 2 minutes after the Austrian sled departs, then they will leave as well. So the moment the Austrian sled goes, and we watch that run, the Belgians move in, roll the sled onto its side on the ice, and then when there's a minute to go, they will be laying the sled on its runners, and that's exactly when we all know it's a minute to go here as well. The sled will be put on its runners on the ice, and then at the 60-second clock, it'll be put into the start grooves, and they're being blown out so that Lea Hasselwanter and Hannah Kranen have an equal opportunity. Wolfgang Stampfer bantering with the crowds. So just waiting for the track officials. They're on the left-hand side in the green and black jacket to say the track is clear. Okay, and now a minute to go. You saw the sign, sled laid on the ice. So fourth World Cup start for Lea Hasselwanter and Hannah Kranen. This is Hannah's first as an Austrian slider. Her first three were for the Netherlands with Lauren Jolo. And in fact, Hannah Kranen, the brake woman, made her debut in the World Cup in Winterberg on the 5th of January 2025, so 364 days ago. And a year minus a day later, she makes another debut, this time for Austria. So Lea Hasselwanter raced in the World Cup. She's got half a dozen Europe Cup races here, but this is her first World Cup start in Winterberg. Let's see what this duo can produce. In and down, 5.86, and a decent run through the zero curve, 22nd at the start. So now she will know from her training starts that she's going to have to drive herself into this race. She's already picked off one, and that'll be, actually it won't be Tanya Rover, it'll be Voigt. 15th best speed. This is looking very good for Lea Hasselwanter. She's got a good touch on the D-rings, it seems. And with a sled whisperer like Wolfgang Stampfer, even a customer sled like this one should be quick. Into 19th place. 16th best speed at the bottom. Can she pick off another one? Yes, she does. Gets ahead of, ties with Georgeta Popescu. 58.08. So was that an oomph up shoulder shrug of delight, frustration, or what? I'm not sure. So 18th to 18th place behind Adele Nickel by 400s, tied with Georgeta Popescu. So Ying Qing is out. Just a little late on the exit there. That's 6 into the Kreisel, so she comes up high early. Just covering an extra metre or two as you zigzag around instead of going straight through there. Lea on the right and Hannah on the left. Next up for Belgium. This duo finished 13th here last year. Kelly van Petegem, the driver, and Gienti de Cler. Gienti, 25, has her birthday in Altenburg. What a place to have it. Well, that's if they go, of course. 11th World Cup start for Kelly van Petegem. 18th in the World Championships, 13th last year. She needs that kind of drive again. 5.78, 20th best start. Nicely out of zero, very good. That's going to help keep their speed alive. So 20th at the start, up to 17th in the early going, up to 15th. That clean run through zero down to corner one makes a huge difference. At the moment, she's not only in the race, with 5th best speed, she might be threatening a top 10 run here. 6th best speed, still 13th on the times. And don't forget that Kelly is the 24th sled down. The track is not maybe as fresh as it was. 12th place, 5th best speed, still really flying. Kelly van Petegem for Belgium. It is a top 10 run. Come on, girls, watch. Never mind practicing the show, watch the race. That was a solid start and a really good drive for Kelly van Petegem. A little height maybe in the Kreisel, but the rest of it looked really nice. And again here, right in the middle of the drive lines, allowing the sled to climb at the end of 11. Beautifully done. Top 10 for Belgium. 3 to go, and a 8th World Cup start for Sarah Blizzard, a 2nd for her brakewoman Desi Johnson. Made her debut in Cortina. Raced in the Worlds here in 2024, Desi, and this is only her 8th career race. Sarah Blizzard did 10 before this as a brakewoman for Bree Walker. She has had 1 World Cup here driving, finished 18th place last year, and again needs that sort of speed here. 5:82 start. Cleanly out of 0, and look at the momentum. 21st fastest push, 16th best velocity. And again, like the Belgians, that is going to help them pick off a few early on. There you go, 21st up to 20th. Kristen Buznovsky, by the way, now out of the second heat, along with Ying Qing, Maya Voigt, and Patricia Tanyarova. 9th best speed. The track still has some pace in it, doesn't it? Sarah Blizzard up to 17th. Not in a blizzard. These puns just need saying, don't they? 5th best speed. She's absolutely flying. The track is still as quick as it was for the front runners. 15th place. She's in the second heat comfortably. 14th at the line. Joy from Sarah Blizzard, and you saw her coach, Anne van Joenhuis, who's coaching the Aussies and the Belgians, or these Aussies anyway. Yes! 23rd in Cortina last time out. They've had a couple of Europe Cup races since then, racking up the points and the miles. Little nudge away, 4 into 5. But it was a really nice looking run. Excellent stuff from Sarah Blizzard and Desi Johnson. So the Aussies are in, and Leia Hasselvanter and Georgetta Popescu in 20th have 2 sleds to wait. Excellent. Sarah Blizzard on the right, Desi Johnson on the left. It's not the first time she's made the cut, but it's the first this season now. Debutante Simona Di Silvestro, the ex-IndyCar and Formula E single-seater race ace. Her 20th career start, all of them in Europe Cup. And she gets away in 6th dead. She's got Tania Vincenzino behind her, who made her first start back in La Plagne in January 2020. Brakewoman's last race was Endspurt, December 2023. Simona has been plying her trade in Europe Cup, having decided when she saw the games were coming to Milan Cortina that she wanted to go to the Olympics. What could she choose? Not skiing, not curling, not border cross, bobsleigh, driving things. Well, 25th at the start. Is she going to get a second heat? She didn't make it through into heat 2 in the monobob yesterday. Speed is decent, but there's too much of a mountain to climb. I don't think she's there. She's not. 23rd, 58.24 on her debut. Well, great to see the Italian women's bobsleigh program back in the World Cup. And great to see a racing driver in bobsledding. I don't know when the last one was. The most famous we'll talk about next weekend. Alfonso Di Portago, just 2 of his, I think, 13 names. The Spanish nobleman who was a racing driver for Ferrari and an Olympic bobsledder. So Simona Di Silvestre, Tania Vincenzino don't make it through. What about Giada Andreuti? Giada with debutante Alessia Gatti behind her. Alessia, 3 races in Europe Cup. This is her 4th career race after changing to bobsleigh from skeleton. She raced for 4 seasons in skeleton and became a bobsledder last November. 5:77 getaway. 19th best start. A chance for Giada Andreuti to make it in here. Great woman only switched to bobsled this year. She's uncertain whether she's going to remain in bobsled, maybe look at becoming a driver, or whether she'll go back to sliding skeleton after the games. 21st at the moment from the 19th best start. Back into the top 20. This is touch and go for Giada Andreuti, but now she's in, climbing up to 19th. What's the speed like? Out of the labyrinth, 13th, 14th. If the speed is good enough, she's up to 18th. She is in. And out go Leah Hasselvanter and Georgetta Popescu. So Giada Andreuti, her last World Cup, January 2025 in Innsbruck. She was here in January 2020 when she raced to 15th place. That's her only World Cup on this track. And she makes it in. So Giada Andreuti and rookie Alessia Gatti are in 18th place. Bree Walker 19th, Adele Nicol 20th. Will go off first in the second heat. But Leah Hasselvanter and Georgetta Popescu do not make it through. Nor does Kristen Bujnovski, Simona Di Silvestre, Ying Qing, Maya Voigt and Patricia Tanurova. Well, congratulations to the Italians. At the top of the pile, again, we have our German leader, Lisa Buchwitz. Winner in the World Championships in 2024. With Kira Lipperheide, she won here last year, and she leads again. Is it going to be 3 in a row? Well, here is how the standings are. Lisa Buchwitz by 1100s from Lara Nolter. A further 1800s back, Kim Kilicki. A 10th behind her, Katie Bile. Anne Humphreys, and maybe even Margot Bott could challenge for the podium. Melly Hasler tied with Keisha Love for 7th. Debbie Annan just 200s behind them. Then another dead heat for 10th, Kelly Van Pettigum and Cynthia Apia. 800s behind her, or them, is Wai Ming Ming and Alana Myers-Taylor only a couple of hundreds behind. Another tie behind them. And then Adele Nicol in 20th place. She and Bree Walker will be the first 2 sleds off. Hasselvanter, Popescu, Bujnovski, Di Silvestro, Ying, Voigt and Tanurova do not get a second run. And the second heat comes up at 12:30 CET, 11:30 GMT, 06:30 Eastern. We'll see you then. Bye for now.
Und so ein bisschen warm zum Tanzen im Kreisel, der Gleichheit für um 12:34 geht schon weiter. Ja, also wirklich ein Tag, der vom Sport getrieben ist und zwischendurch sorgen wir einfach dafür, dass wir gehen. Weil wir vor allen Dingen, dass es nicht kalt wird. Und wer uns besuchen will, wer uns mal Auge in Auge erleben möchte, das anfassen möchte oder uns einfach auch Glühwein bringen möchte, wir sind Feld ins Kreisel.